Welcome. Trust and safety are built the first 3 minutes of communication. And I know that your communication with your patients matter to you. Patient outcomes improve when communication improves, and so does your own personal satisfaction in taking care of your patient. I'm going to share 3 very practical ways. They're all evidence-based to support you being successful those first 3 minutes at building trust and creating a safe environment. My name is Karla Cauldwell. I am a communication expert with a background in nursing, health coaching, and healthcare innovation. So let's get started. Let's get started with those 3 very practical ways that you can start using today. I made a worksheet for you. Make sure you're a part of my whole life healing network to get access to the worksheet. Okay, so really important to understand that communication starts before you even walk into the room. The first practical tool and skill that I want to talk to you about is self-awareness. This is often a missed opportunity. Very often, most of us are going from interaction to interaction to interaction, and we're missing a really important opportunity. When we go from interaction to interaction, we're bringing the energy from the previous interaction to the new interaction. And if the previous interaction was stressful or exhausting in any kind of way or rushed, we're bringing that energy into the new communication. So we want to refrain from doing that by creating a pause. And it can be as simple as stopping before you enter a room and taking 2 deep breaths. You can even create a ritual where you say, I release my past interactions and I now prepare for my new interaction. Some people don't like statements like that. Some people just like to take those 2 deep breaths. What matters is that you're taking a moment to bring your awareness to the present. You're using self-awareness and mindfulness so that when you enter the room, you're entering with calm energy. We feel each other's energy and we can feel when someone is stressed or rushed or has had a bad interaction before. It's felt. And to build trust and create a safe environment for optimal communication, that's not helpful. So the first step is creating a very small, doable ritual for yourself before you start your next communication with a patient. And only you know what that is, but I do suggest you consider a few deep breaths, a statement you can say to yourself to be in that moment and to bring your complete self, complete undistracted self to this new interaction. That's number 1. Number 2, these first 3 minutes, it is absolutely essential that we bring the best tone, vocal tone, body language, and facial expressions. So often we do not think about this. We just enter the room and go. And I want to ask you, is your tone, is it eliciting trust? Is it eliciting a calm interaction, a safe environment? Things you might look out for is if, like, when I get excited, my tone goes up. And not everyone reads that as excitement. Some people are put off by that. So being intentional about having an even tone, watching the speed at what you're talking. This is, in this type of environment, our patients are trusting us with their health. They may be nervous and anxious. So, those first 3 minutes, if we can bring a calm tone, even pacing of our communication, we're more likely to build trust during those first 3 minutes. Now, if you're not sure how you're presenting yourself or how you're coming across, I highly encourage you to get feedback. This is so important. I can't tell you how long I went thinking that I looked really friendly and that I was being perceived in the best way possible until I got feedback that I was scrunching my face. If you watch my videos, you'll see that I do this a lot. And it's actually because of my eyesight. I'm sometimes doing this to see better. Sometimes I do that when I'm thinking, and that doesn't always come across in a positive way. The feedback I got is I may want to watch my facial expressions because it looks like I'm either frustrated, angry, or I don't like what the other person is saying. How interesting is that? I had no idea. I thought I was presenting myself perfect. So, getting feedback regarding your facial expressions and your tone is very, very helpful. If you don't have anyone that you can get feedback from, you could watch yourself in front of a mirror so you can reenact an interaction that you had with a patient, and you can watch your face in the mirror to see what happens. I also, in the worksheet, I give a list of just really, they seem really logical and obvious. Again, when we're in a rush and when we're in the moment, we might not be doing these things. So simple things like eye contact, those first 3 minutes, whatever you can do not to look at your electronics. So whether you use your phone for patient interactions or a laptop or a computer, if those first 3 minutes you can make it about the patient, it will contribute to building an environment of safety and trust with your patient. So not looking away, looking, giving eye contact as appropriate, and open stance. So refraining from, I do this a lot without thinking. I'll cross my arms or cross my legs and sometimes that can come off as, in a way that doesn't help build rapport. We also want to be mindful of looking down at someone. So if it's possible, being at the same height, sitting down, or coming to the same level as your patient. And you just want to remain open, expressing yourself in a way, both physically and verbally, in a way that says, I want to build trust with you. I care about you. I want to highly recommend that you right away let the person know who you are and greet them. I know that sounds really obvious, but I can't tell you how many times when I'm watching patient interactions and auditing different clinician um, communication with their patients, this is missed. And it's not because the person doesn't want to tell their patient who they are. It's just very easy to forget if you're in a hurry, if you didn't do that pause. That's why the pause is so important too. That way you're grounded, you're mindful, you're in the moment. Don't forget that greeting. It really matters. Okay. So now we're on to step number 3. This is where we're actually going to do something. This is an interaction with our patient. Number 1, we started before we're even interacting with our patient. We are bringing our awareness to the moment, letting go of what has happened in the past so we can be fully present. Number 2, we're being aware of our face, our body, our physical posturing, our tone, our voice. Number 3, oh my gosh, we want to get this in within those first 2 minutes. An open-ended question that's relevant to the patient visit and a reflection. So open-ended question, meaning that we're going to get more than one word answer back. And I do encourage you to make it relevant. I'm going to give a few examples in just a moment. But sometimes when you ask an open-ended question that's not relevant, it can result in time wasted and being less efficient because you start to get all the information under the sun. So you want to get information, but we want to get targeted information. So for example, some questions you might ask. What are you hoping to accomplish today during our visit? What is it most important for us to address regarding your health while we're together? What matters most to you regarding your health? Why is it that you want to be healthy? What would your life look like if you had the health you wanted? What concerns you the most about your health? How can we help you meet your goals today? Okay, those are all included in the worksheet and a few extras. Open-ended question, just one. So we want to ask an open-ended question, pause, and listen. Listen with both your ears to the answer. When the patient is done speaking, answering your question, you want to reflect back what you heard and understood. What reflection looks like is it can be paraphrasing what you heard. It can be repeating back. It can be sharing your interpretation of what you're hearing. And this is one of the biggest trust builders I know about, reflection. I don't want you to worry about getting it 100% correct. Even if you're wrong, it still builds trust because now your patient can explain anything that you may have misunderstood. That builds huge trust. And your patient can see that you are invested and you care. So what does this look like? Okay, I'm going to role model asking the question. I'm going to give an answer and then I'll share the reflection. So if I am the nurse and I ask my patient, what matters most to you regarding your health? And let's say my patient answers, what matters most to me is being able to stay active. I want to be active so that I can walk my grandchildren to school, so I can play with them. That's what matters most to me. As the nurse, I'm going to reflect back. Let me see if I understood. What matters most to you is being healthy for your grandchildren so that you can walk them to school, so that you can play with them. You want to be able to interact with your grandchildren in the most meaningful way possible. This is why your health matters the most to you. Did I get that right? And then they can either say yes or no. I also recommend that you say anything else. If you do choose to do anything else, you want to reflect again. If you can do those 3 things in the first 3 minutes of your communication interaction, you are more likely to build trust and create a safe space for your patient to share relevant information so that you can help your patient build the best healthcare plan possible for them so that they can have the best health outcomes possible. I just want to ask you, how important is it for you in your own personal life when you're interacting with your healthcare team? How important is it for you that you feel heard? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not important at all, 10 being the most important ever, how important is it for you to feel heard? If you are anything like me and the 38 clinicians that I was speaking to earlier this week, everyone said 10. I was actually surprised by that. I did not expect everyone to give a 10. If you're high like that too, use that as evidence of the importance of getting better at making sure that your patients feel heard by you. If it matters to you, it matters to them. And what I love about the 3 ways I talked about today, they're really easy and they're practical and they're completely doable. The hard part is making it a habit. So I encourage you to practice. You can practice one at a time and check in with yourself. How did it go? You can mentally review your patient visits and your communication interactions to see, was I able to take a pause before I interacted? Was I able to be aware of my body posture and my tone? Did I greet my patient and tell them who I was? And did I ask a question those first 3 minutes, an open-ended question related to the care that I was going to deliver? And did I reflect back the answer? You get better at this through practice. This is something I'll be practicing until the day I die. And each time I get a little better and a little bit better and a little bit better. I would love to know if you put this into action. Let me know. And if you found this helpful, please share with your network. I am sharing these tools because I know that when we can get better at building trust and creating a safe environment for communication, we are much more likely to engage our patients in conversations about self-management and health behavior change to prevent the 85% of disease that is completely preventable based on what we do, think, and say. But it's important that we build that trust first. Thank you so much, and I hope you have an incredible day. Thank you.